In this lesson, I'm going to add some details and do some further explanation of diminutives, augmentatives, and suffixes that we add in Spanish that change the meaning of certain words. And the first one I want to talk about is the use of ísimo. We call this the absolute superlative. The best way I can translate ísimo, which we add to the end of an adjective, is the like extremely or like very, 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 very. Okay, for example, let's take a look at this example here. Estas enchiladas están picantísimas. So picante means spicy. Muy picante would be very spicy. Picantísimo is extremely spicy or very, 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 very spicy. Okay. Now in Spanish, we don't say muy, 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 muy picante. Okay. If we want to do that, we just put ísimo on the end. And of course, because it's an adjective, it has to agree with whatever it's describing. So enchiladas is feminine plural. Picantísimas has to be feminine and plural as well. Okay, el viernes sentí un dolor fuertísimo en la panza. On Friday, I felt an extremely strong pain in my stomach. En Italia elaboran chocolates riquísimos. In Italy, they make extremely delicious chocolates, which is very true, I have to say. Esa montaña todavía está lejísima. That mountain is still very far away, extremely far away. Okay, so ísimo is used to make something more than what it is. And there are rules as to how to form it. It's not just adding ísimo to the end. If the adjective or adverb ends in a vowel, you replace that vowel with ísimo. So for example, alto, you drop the O, and then you add ísimo. Altísimo. Oops, that's missing a T. I got to go back and edit that. Pequeña, okay, you drop the A. Pequeñísima. Inteligente, drop the E. Intelijísimas. And so on and so forth. If the adjective ends with ends with a consonant, we simply add ísimo. So fácil ends in an L. We don't do anything except add ísimo. Facilísimo. Difícil, dificilísima. But keep in mind, there is a spelling change, okay? You guys have seen many times in your Spanish learning that when there's a Z at the end of a word and then it's pluralized or, you add an E or whatever, the Z changes into a C. So feliz is a Z and we add ísimo to the end. Well, we have to change the Z into a C, felicísimo. And here are a few exceptions, okay? When a adjective ends in an N or an R, we add sísimo. So joven ends in an N. Jovencísimo is extremely young, okay? Calor ends in an R. Calorcísimo, very, very hot. Okay, and then if the adjective ends in ble, like amable, okay, then you change the spelling a little bit to bil. So amable wouldn't be amabilísimo, it's amabilisimo. So you add an extra I in there. Agradable, agradabilisima. We add an I in there. Let's talk about diminutives and augmentatives. A diminutive makes something smaller, and augmentative makes it bigger. Okay, and in Spanish, in general, we would add ito or ita or itos or itas to make something smaller than what it is. Okay, and we tend to remove the vowel if it ends in a vowel. So like casa is a house, casita is a little house, perro, a dog, perrito, a little dog or a puppy, pequeño, pequeñito, agua, agüita. Now, if it ends in a consonant, except for N and R, okay, you add ito, azulito. You just add ito. You don't drop anything. Miguel, Miguelito. You kind of tend to do this naturally when you're speaking. You don't really think about it too much. You don't think, oh, gee, I have to remove the O, then I have to add ito. It kind of sounds natural to do it that way. Now, if the word ends in a consonant N or R, you add a C and then the suffix. So mujer ends in an R, you say mujercita instead of mujerita. Okay, the reason why they do that is because it sounds better to say mujercita than mujerita for some reason. Joven ends in an N, so jovencito. Verde, verdecito. Monte, so montecito, like a little mountain. Pobres, pobrecitos, poor little people. And single syllable words have to have the suffix esito. Instead of just ito, it's esito or cecito, depending on the word. So pie, piecito, like a little foot. Pez, pececito, a little tiny fish. Flor, florecita, a little tiny flower. Okay, augmentatives, these make things bigger. There are a lot of ways to do augmentatives in Spanish. And it also depends on the country you go to. Okay, you can have aso, on, or ote to make a word bigger than what it is. Okay, and sometimes it's used for exaggeration. Okay, not necessarily size, but like, something that's like shockingly cool. Okay, so Paco se compró un carrazo. Okay, Paco bought himself a really, really nice car. Okay, it literally means like a big car, but it's not really like in stature, but rather it's amazing. Tu tío carpintero tiene unas manazas. Okay, so mano is a hand. Okay, manazas are large hands. So it's like, wow, he has some really big hands. Big, strong, thick. That kind of thing. On and ona, okay, can be used from words that come from verbs. Like preguntar is to ask. Pregunton is someone who asks a lot of questions. Okay, hace mucha pregunta. Eres preguntón. You are a person who asks a lot of questions. Like you're a big question maker. No sean tan dormilones. The word dormilón comes from dormir, to sleep. And dormilón is someone who sleeps a lot. So it's an exaggeration. It's a big sleeper. Then you have ote, which is used for size only. So, viste esa casota? Okay, did you see that huge house? Meaning it's really, really big. Okay, so any form of ote, ota, otes, and otas means it's really big. Okay, now some endings might look like they're augmentatives, that they're big, but no, it's just they're coincidentally, they end like that. Like elote means corn. It doesn't mean a big corn, it's just corn. Okay, acordeon is an accordion. Okay, sapote, it's a type of fruit. Okay, sarampion, measles. Okay, and others. Okay, but in any case, in Spanish, when we want to make something really tiny, we say ito on the end. And when we want to make something really big, we add ote or ota. And then we use on, ona to like create certain words that make them bigger than what they are. Like I said, dormilon, someone who sleeps a lot. And then finally, we add aso as an exaggeration, like something that's really, really good. So, vamos a practicar todo esto.